Hello, everyone. This is Blackbird Writers Presents, and I'm Tracy Phillips here today, and I'm interviewing Christine DeSmet, the author of the Fudge Shop Mysteries. Christine has been writing instructor at the UW-Madison for 25 years, and she's currently a distinguished faculty associate. She's also worked diligently to make the UW Writers Institute the best 4-day conference in the Midwest. She is the author of the Moonstone Mystery Series and the Fudge Shop Mystery Series. Welcome, Christine.
Hi, thank you very much for this opportunity. I appreciate it.
Well, it's so nice to have you here. I had so much fun reading Five-Alarm Fudge. There was just so much going on in that book. It is the third novel in your Fudge Shop Mysteries. So tell us about your inspiration.
The inspiration is pretty interesting because it has to do with the history of Door County. The inspiration had to do with the woman called Adele Brisset, a Belgian woman who came over in 1859 to Door County, Wisconsin. And at that time, there weren't a lot of Belgians. I think about 15 families had come over. But what's important about her is that she allegedly saw the Virgin Mary. The Virgin Mary came to her in a vision in the woods. And that was in 1859. And then in 1871 was the Great Fire that is sometimes called the Peshtigo Fire. But it covered 8 counties of Wisconsin and killed about 1,500 people. And this was on October 9, 1871. And that was such a massive loss of life. There were 3,000 homeless people in addition to the 1,500. And excuse me, this happened the same day as the Chicago fire, which killed about 300 people. And people don't know about the Door County one. And I was just almost aghast because here I am living in Wisconsin. I had never heard about this. And this was several years ago now. And I started looking into it and I thought, this has to be part of this series somehow. And so I looked into Sister Adele Brisset's background and used this as my inspiration because I thought she became a teacher. And I thought, okay, if she's a traveling teacher, she probably makes candies or brings food to the students in her schools where she travels around Door County. And why not candies? And why not fudge? And what if she had a special recipe and hid it inside one of the churches? And from there, the whole story just unfolded for me. I had so much fun with the secrets in this book. It was a lot of fun finding all the secrets going on in Door County. And of course, I took liberties. I took a few liberties.
Yeah, well, yeah. But the history was really interesting, and it was pretty clear that Adele Brisset was a real person, and she was a nun. And then I imagine all of the structures that you use in the story as well, the churches, for example, and those are all really there too.
Yeah, definitely they are. The church that she built, a little wood structure, is in what was called Robinson at the time, and it's called Champion today, and it is a worldwide site where people come and pray and all of that to honor her and the visions that she had. So yeah, the places are real. Now in my book, I have St. Mary of the Snows Church as well. That's a different church. And well, let's just say a lot of secrets are revealed in that church in my book. Yeah, but I do use the real locations as much as possible. I try to use the real things because this history of the Belgians that came to Door County is a big deal in Wisconsin. And there's the Belgian Heritage Center, and they collect the history of the area and are very true to that history. And I've interviewed many of those people, wonderful citizens of Door County, and I want to stay true to what really happens and what happened in that area.
Yeah, well, then I think that's what makes it so interesting. So
Yeah.
you've got many characters in this story. I was surprised at the entire town of characters, but Ava Osterling is the main character. So describe Ava for your readers.
Ava is in her early 30s, and she has a journalism background like I do. She went to college and got a journalism degree, but she never used it. She ended up moving to California for a time, for about a decade before coming back to Door County, and she worked on television. But that turned out to be a bad job. Nobody wants to work in television and work until 2 a.m. every day and live in a tiny little apartment in LA. I mean, that's the kind of lifestyle she had. So she came back to help Grandma and Grandpa. And she's a very stubborn woman, just like her grandpa, who she affectionately calls Gilpa. His name is Gilson, and he's a grandpa. And as a little girl, she called him Gilpa, and that stuck. So she's very stubborn, and this is something that is known among Belgians. They're stubborn people. And I'm half Belgian myself, so I'm stubborn at least half the time myself. And maybe that's why I get my writing done and how I get it done. So she's a stubborn individual, but she's very loyal to her friends. She has a best friend, Pauline, and she's incredibly loyal to her as well as her own family and to the people of Fisher's Harbor, the fictional village where she lives.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, the series takes place in the touristy part of Wisconsin, known as Door County. And you described that a little bit, but tell us why you chose this area, because there's books before Five-Alarm Fudge.
Right. The story of how I came upon writing a series is kind of a funny one. At the time, I was writing my Mischief in Moonstone series, which is a series of novellas set in northern Wisconsin near Lake Superior. And I heard from another writer in the Sisters in Crime organization that someone was looking for a series about chocolate in the Wisconsin area, the Door County. They'd heard that Door County was the Cape Cod of the Midwest. And a friend of mine, a writer friend, Kathleen Ernst, called me and said, Christine, I think you should talk to this agent and propose a series. I think you're ready to do a series that's longer and all that. Well, I called him, and that's how we ended up with me writing this the Fudge Shop Mystery Series, because the agent and I collaborated on what it should be, and I suggested it had to be fudge, beer, and booyah if you're going to be in Door County, Wisconsin. You know, that's what's there. And he laughed and said, let's go for it. And he loved the whole idea of the Cape Cod of the Midwest, which it is. Door County is gorgeous. It's a beautiful area. You know, they don't let billboards come in from various chains above the canal zone of Sturgeon Bay area. So when you go up to northern Door County, it's lovely. There's, it's all, split rail fences and beautiful flowers everywhere, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah, I still haven't been. My husband promised to take me years ago, and I still haven't been up there. So maybe this year will be the year.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. One of the things that I loved about the book, you talked about beer. I can't repeat it, but you had so much alliteration in the story because Pauline's a kindergarten teacher, and then she would focus on one letter, and then you'd have these great little runs of R words, for example. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Pauline is a very good kindergarten teacher, and she likes to oppose Ava and a lot of times and tell her how she should act, because she's a kindergarten teacher, and Pauline is very much about orderly things. And Pauline has a huge purse, as many kindergarten teachers have these huge bags they carry around all the time because they're filled with, markers, stickers, candy, maybe. There's all this stuff. And that's what Pauline is. She's always got some kind of a solution inside her bag and in her head, because she's a smart kindergarten teacher and has to be on her toes. So yeah, she's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I really enjoyed her counterpoint to Ava, who was always questioning everything. And Pauline was like, "You're not going to drag me into that again, are you?"
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then Pauline is always dragged into it. Yeah.
always. Yeah. So Ava has her nose in everyone's business. Um, and that's because there's a lot going on in this little town. Can you talk about some of the other characters in Ava's supporting cast?
Yeah, I think one of the most important ones is Cody Felsted, who works for her in the shop, and he has symptoms of attention deficit syndrome. And so he's working on that. He's young, he's 20-ish, and he is a lovely, lovely person who's very smart and has her back all the time. And Cody, they disagree sometimes. Cody is, he knows what he wants, and he wants to go to college and wants to be a park ranger. So he likes to be called Ranger once in a while. He likes that. He's trying to get used to his future. So he's a lot of fun, and he loves making fudge. So he's a good helper. He loves the shop, the beautiful colors and the customers that come in. And so he's always helping with the copper kettles and making fudge. And of course, we talked about Pauline. One of the other major characters is Mercy Fogg. Mercy is 60-ish, the past village president, and she does not like the Oosterling family. Ava Oosterling, no, grandma is on local committees, and Mercy, she used to be that village president. She wants to be again, but most people don't want her to be, because what she wants to do is to get rid of the harbor area with the old buildings, including the fudge shop, and put up new condos and things that where the tax dollars could really roll in, she thinks. So she's a bit of an enemy, but the fun thing I'm having with Mercy is that she loves to drive everything. She drives the snow plows in the winter. She drives the graders on the gravel roads. She drives the school buses. That's how she makes her living. She drives things, and that gets her into a lot of trouble. In my recent books, she gets into some big trouble because of the way she loves to drive, and she drives limos and things like that for people who visit Door County. So I have a lot of fun with Mercy. She can cause a lot of trouble. And the other personality is the dog. Lucky Harbor came along in the first book as a surprise. And he was called Lucky at first, but Cody had called him Harbor. And so there was a compromise. So now he's called Lucky Harbor all the time. And he is an American Water Spaniel, which is a dog that is Wisconsin based. It was bred and created in Wisconsin, a hunting dog. And so he's this curly brown hunting dog, and he gets in his share of trouble as well. So I like him. And of course, the other major character is Grandpa. Grandpa is Mr. Stubborn, gets into trouble too. You can just count on him doing the wrong thing all the time. He just doesn't care. He's lived his life, and now he feels he can do anything he wants. That's the way Grandpa is. So, and Grandma has a hard time keeping up with him. But in this book, Grandma has her own secrets.
Yeah,
so people
she
get to know
does.
Grandma a bit more in this book.
Right.
Yeah.
But I was surprised you didn't mention Dylan, her love interest.
Yeah, well, yeah, Dylan is kind of off and on in her thoughts. He is a very protective person, and he wants her to kind of pull back. She's too busy, she's into too many things, and she's not sure she wants to pull back. She's constantly getting into things. So she has some reservations about him. She loves him, but she has reservations. Plus, what readers will find out in book one, so it's not a surprise in this book, they used to be married for a very short time. They eloped in their past and were married for all of a month. And so there's a past there that they're trying to work out. It's an interesting past. He did some pretty awful, weird things that young men do. And so she's been trying to forgive him. So they've got a rocky kind of tiptoeing around each other relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like everyone in this story has a past. So
yeah, definitely. And it's book 3. So by book
Right.
3, some of these secrets start coming out. Some of the past starts coming out.
Yeah.
And yeah, and some of these secrets help launch the next 3 books in the series as well. What I'm working on now is kind of based on some of the things that happen in this particular book.
Okay. Yeah. Well, tell us what you are working on now.
Well, I'm working on right now, working on book 6, actually, Holly Jolly Fudge Folly. Happens at Christmas time, but I'm in the middle of writing it, so I can't say much about that. I'm dead center in the middle. Before that is coming out this spring or early summer is Undercover Fudge. That's book 5. That one includes a wedding in it, and I won't say anything more about that. That's where she goes undercover in a unique way, and some big events happen, and some people almost lose their lives. There's a lot of adventure. I don't often write big adventure, but this one has more adventure in it. Big action things kind of happen in Undercover Fudge. The most recent one that came out was this last year, and that was the one that's behind me here. Deadly Fudge Divas came out this last year. And that's about 5 women who come to Door County for an outing, a retreat. And well, let's just say one of them doesn't survive. Yeah.
Oh.
So it was not the kind of retreat we don't want to go to.
No, not at all. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
so
great.
I'm pretty busy working on them, and I don't know, I don't have anything planned out for any 7, 8, 9 yet, but I'm just working on book 6. I got to get that one done.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. So, well, thanks so much for talking with us today. Is there anything else that you want to share with your readers? Where can they find you in the next few months if they wanted to chat with you or?
Yeah, I'm online with the Blackbird Writers. They can find me through the Facebook pages and my own website. And of course, I'm at the University of Wisconsin in Madison, so they can find me there. But my books are at independent bookstores, and Barnes & Noble has the book that we were talking about today. Barnes & Noble, Amazon, all the bookstores carry that book. So that's where they can find me. I'm everywhere. I'm around.
Great. Well, it was awesome talking to you today, Christine.
Thank you. Thank you, Tracy.
Yeah, thanks so much. And you can find more about Blackbird Writers at blackbirdwriters.com and come and listen to more interviews there, and we'll see you around. Bye.
Bye. Thanks.